Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the main gym here at Pioneer High School, where it is your Pioneer women's varsity basketball team taking on the Huron River Rats. Taking a look at these two teams. As we look at Pioneer, they are 4-1, starting off with a win versus Skyline 78-29. Then it was a win at Monroe 61-16. Saline edged them out, as they have many folks, 58-34. Then Pioneer came back with two wins in a row, beating Ypsilanti Lincoln 60-16, and then a tight one versus Bedford this past Friday, where they won 40-37 in a very hard-fought game. So that's where Pioneer is. Huron is 0-3, according to the SEC. I only see in the Max Preps two games. A game versus Monroe, where they lost 68-55, and they lost at Bedford 58-28. So one other game in there that was not reported. That I don't have, but they are 3-0 according to the SEC standings. So taking a look over on the SEC Red Division for varsity girls basketball, Saline stands on top, 6-0 on the season. They just continue to be a very well-playing, tough team. Pioneer right behind them, 4-1 on the season. Monroe right behind them, 4-2. Bedford comes in at 3-2. Ypsilanti is 2-3. That's a team that Pioneer will be playing at tomorrow. We won't be able to have that broadcast because we'll be here for the men's game. But again, I do believe that Ypsilanti is allowing two attendees per athlete, so please get out, cheer on the teams over there. So that's Ypsi 2-3, Lincoln is 1-5, Huron 0-3, and Skyline 0-5. That's in the SEC Red. Over on the White Division, Chelsea 4-0. That's just in the SEC. Jackson 3-1 in the SEC White. 2-2 for both Dexter and Tecumseh. The Pinckney Pirates are 1-3, and Adrian 0-4. So that's where we stand. So Pioneer number 2 in the SEC Red. It could be really tough to try and catch Saline, but Pioneer would love to keep solidly in that number 2 spot, and a good piece of that would be a win here versus Huron to try and move ahead in the wins versus Monroe, who has 4 wins as well, but 1 additional loss. And that is where we stand at this particular moment in time, as we are counting down 2 minutes 42 seconds and counting before we get going here. So let's play a few messages from the MHSAA, and we will get you going with the starting tip between Pioneer women's varsity basketball and the Huron River Rats.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform? Why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we're getting ready to go here, 21 seconds and counting down here at Pioneer, getting ready for Pioneer women's varsity basketball versus Huron, cross-town rivalry between these two teams. Again, Pioneer would love to get ahead of Monroe in the win column and be solidly in the second spot in the SEC Red.
And welcome to Pioneer High School for tonight's game between the Huron River Rats and the Pioneer Pioneers. And now, please stand for our...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. As we have 8 minutes up on the clock, getting ready to go here. And we'll get starting lineup here.
The starters are number 1, Angela Rondon Cardone.
Rondon Cardone being announced.
Number 1, Jackie Barnes.
Brines being announced for Pioneer. Right, starting for the River Rats.
Number 24, we have 24, Alexis Clark.
Alexis Clark starting for Pioneer.
For the River Rats, number 11, Elena Loit.
Loit being announced.
For the Pioneers, number 4, Lauren DeWolf.
DeWolf being announced for the Pioneers. Smith being announced for Huron coming out.
For Pioneer, number 14, Maya Hicks.
Maya Hicks for Pioneer in the starting lineup.
For Huron, starting number 24, Onyx Rios Acosta.
Rios Acosta being announced for Huron.
Number 23, Felicia Stewart.
And Felicia Stewart being announced for Pioneer. Those are your starting 5 for both teams. Here on River Rats, head coach is Scott Hunter. Byron Douglas, the assistant coach for the River Rats. For Pioneer, head coach is Tyrone Hicks.
Assisted by Lawrence DeWolf.
Assistant is Lawrence DeWolf.
For tonight's game, Mr.
Tom Lynch, Steve Tanner, and Brent Albright are your officials for today's game. We appreciate them. You cannot have the game without the officials. You don't have to agree with every call, but you certainly have to appreciate them and the hard work that they have. So number 11 out there. As that is inbounded, picking it up right, working her way to the far side. That tipped away by DeWolf. Here comes Pioneer with it. Clark gets it ahead. Stewart, that just got a little too far underneath the basket, spinning the other way. It's Rios Acosta. Here comes Huron with it, dribbling it right. Dribbles to her right, and then working her way. Gets it over on the near corner. And that out of bounds as Rondon Cardone tried to get it into the corner. That tipped away. Pioneer ball. And I believe that is Loit who is out there because I don't see a number 3. So just trying to fix my roster as Hicks has it. Hicks puts it into the near wing. That for DeWolf. DeWolf floats it up, floats it in. DeWolf with the first points of the game. Pioneer 2, Huron nothing, 7:21 left to go. That quickly put ahead for Smith. Smith trying to get it on the near corner. There's first points for Rondon Cardone. Quickly ahead, Pioneer. Hicks trying to get it underneath for Clark. Clark off the glass and puts it in. Clark with her first points of the game. 4 for Pioneer, 2 for Huron. That skied ahead, out of bounds as Rondon Cardone tried to grab it, but that ball was out of bounds. I'll go over to Pioneer. Pioneer 4, Huron 2. 6:55 left to go here in the first. DeWolf brings it ahead for Pioneer. She goes over center court. DeWolf on that far sideline now. Comes up, top of the key, hands it off to Stewart. Stewart dribbles to her right, gets it over to Hicks. Hicks, top of the key, moves it over to Bryans on the near wing. Bryans comes, free throw line, moves it over to Hicks on the far wing. Into the far corner for Stewart. Stewart over to Clark. Clark dumps it over to DeWolf. DeWolf off the glass, rolled out. DeWolf gets her own rebound, working her way down the far sideline. Puts it up and puts it in. DeWolf gets her 4th point. Pioneer 6, Huron 2. DeWolf going for the steal. That poked away. Here's Bryans on the far wing. Bryans able to steal that away from Smith. There's a shot by DeWolf for 3. That off the front of the rim. Gathered down underneath as that was Loit with it. Heading ahead is right to the free throw line. Bounce pass underneath. That just a little too strong for Rondon Cardone. Trying to put it up, Smith. That pulled away by Bryans. Here comes Pioneer the other direction. Over to Stewart. Stewart underneath to Clark. Clark in the paint. Puts it off the glass. Puts it in. 4 points for Clark. Pioneer 8. Huron 2. 5:38 left to go here. Quickly ahead to Rondon Cardone. As she's on the near wing, that went off of a foot, pulling it away. Here comes Pioneer. DeWolf with it on the near wing. DeWolf stutter steps, comes back around the arc, gets it underneath to Clark. Clark puts it up. That just off the mark, wouldn't fall, bounced off the rim, out of bounds. As again, we have the cheerleaders in the house providing a little atmosphere for our game. DeWolf to inbound, the ball stays with Pioneer, gets it to Clark. Clark works her way into the paint, over to Covington. Covington over to DeWolf. Back to Covington on the on the far baseline. Bounce pass over to Hicks in the far corner. Whistle, and they call it traveling. 5 minutes, 10 seconds left to go. It's Huron ball. Pioneer 8, Huron 2. Inbounding it is Rios Acosta. Covington trying to make it difficult for her to get the ball inbound. Tipped away by Covington. Huron will inbound again. Covington imposing right in front, making it difficult for Rios Acosta. Stolen away by DeWolf. DeWolf off the glass, puts it in. Her 6th point. Nice steal, good soft touch on the shot. That pulled in by Wright. Wright gets it ahead as here comes Smith for Huron. Smith into the paint. Stopped and tried to stop on a dime and slid a little bit. That'll be some traveling. That'll head back Pioneer way. 10 points for Pioneer. 2 for Huron. 4:55 left to go here in the first. Bryans inbounds over to DeWolf. DeWolf brings it ahead for Pioneer. DeWolf over the half court, being watched by Wright. DeWolf hands off to Hicks. Hicks over to Covington, top of the key. Covington gets it to Bryans on the near wing. Dumps it underneath for Clark. That tipped away. Pulled away by Smith. Smith trying to get it out in front, but that's stolen away back by Hicks. Hicks comes up, top of the key. Gets it to Clark, then Hicks gets it back. Puts up a 17-footer. Would not fall. Rolled all the way around the rim. Quickly ahead for Huron to Cardome. Rondon Cardone, and that comes the other direction. Here comes Pioneer underneath to Clark. Clark, and they'll call that a tie-up. They'll say jump ball. Possession arrow points to Huron. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left to go here in the first. 10 points for Pioneer, 2 points for Huron. Huron is going to inbound. I thought the possession arrow was pointing. No, he's pointed towards Pioneer. Sorry, Pioneer ball. DeWolf to inbound. DeWolf gets out to Hicks. Hicks on the far wing. Hicks dribbles into the far corner. Now underneath to Covington. Covington off the glass. That rolls around the side of the rim. Would not go down for Wright for Huron the other direction. Wright comes over center court. Right to the free throw line. Wright trying to put it up. That tipped away by Covington. Covington ahead to Hicks. Hicks coming down the far sideline for Pioneer. Hicks stops on the far wing. Bounce pass underneath. Trying to get it to Clark. Clark had it. Stepped out of bounds before she can kick it out to the perimeter over to Brines. That will be out of bounds towards Huron. 3 minutes, 49 seconds left to go. Clark comes out for a breather. Bogan comes in, so you have Bogan coming in for DeWolf. So it's Stewart, Bogan, Brines, Hicks, and Covington are your 5 for Pioneer. Wright brings the ball ahead for Huron. Wright dribbles to her right, comes into the paint trying to put it up. That knocked away, but that'll be a foul on Pioneer. I believe they're going to catch Covington for that one. That will be the first foul of the game. Excuse me, that will be Hicks. That's what I get for not being on the opposite side where the official puts up the numbers. That was in the process of shooting. So Wright puts up the first shot, puts it in. That's her first points of the game. That makes it 3 for Pioneer. Trying to cut it down to a 6-point lead. Wright puts it up. Wright puts it in. 2 beautiful shots, nothing but net. Pioneer ball now. Stewart inbounds, gets it over to Hicks. Hicks brings it ahead for Pioneer over center. Hicks on the far wing. Hicks works her way into the far corner, puts up a long 2-pointer, hits it. Nice job for Hicks. That's her first points of the game. Pioneer 12 and Huron 14. 3:20 left to go. Wright gets it over. That's a Rondon Cardone. Rondon Cardone on the near wing now, dribbles up, top of the key, floats it over to Rios Acosta. Then Rondon Cardone has it back, and that will be a travel. That'll go over to Pioneer. 3:06 left to go here in this, the first. Pioneer 12, Huron 4. Stewart inbound on the near sideline. DeWolf comes in, gives Hicks a breather. Harris to come in as well. Harris is going to give Brines a breather. So getting the substitutions in. Harris just had 8 points. As that's coming up, DeWolf has it. DeWolf over to Stewart. Stewart on the near wing. Stewart dribbles to her right. Stewart trying to get it underneath to Covington. That was tipped away by Rios Acosta. Coming the other direction, here's Rondon Cardone, gets it floated over to Wright. Wright on the far wing. Wright coming down to that baseline. Wright trying to kick it over. That pulled away by DeWolf. Here comes Pioneer. DeWolf comes to the baseline, puts it off glass, rolls around and down. Boy, it really wanted to wait a second there as DeWolf with her eighth point. She rolled it up there and it just sat on the back of the rim for what seemed like forever. That into the far corner, trying to feed it to Smith for Huron. That just a little hot for her to handle. That goes out of bounds. That'll be Pioneer ball. Huron wants to talk things over. They'll take a timeout. We'll take it with them. We'll play a little push on. You're watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. 2 minutes, 24 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Pioneer has the 14-4 lead on Huron. Pioneer to inbound the ball on the far baseline just in front of their bench. Stewart will inbound. DeWolf looking to receive. It's just a 3-person bench this time for Huron. The JV only had 2-person bench. DeWolf hands it off to Bogan. Bogan moves over to Harris. Harris on the near wing. Comes centered up. Now trying to get it over to DeWolf. Trying to make a steal was right. DeWolf gets it over to Clark. Clark works her way to the baseline. That just a little hard off the glass. Pulled away. That was Smith. Feeds it ahead to Wright. Wright for Huron comes down the far sideline. Wright gets it over. That's Rios Acosta. Puts it up. Puts it in for 3. That's her first points of the game. 14 for Pioneer. 7 for Huron. DeWolf brings the head for Pioneer on the far wing. Hands it off to Harris. Harris gets it over to Bogan. Bogan, top of the key, moves over to Stewart on the near wing, being watched by Rios Acosta. Gets a screen, dumping it underneath to Clark. Clark kicks it back to Harris. Harris puts up a 10-footer. That blocked by Smith. Smith quickly trying to outlet it. That's stolen away by DeWolf. DeWolf underneath to Stewart. Stewart puts it up and in. A whistle blown. So Stewart with the shot coming, trying to make it a 3-point play, trying to make it a 10-point lead by Pioneers. 16-7 is the current lead. 1 minute, 22 seconds left to go. Stewart.
Foul is on Huron number 12.
As that was on Smith, her first foul of the game for Huron. 1 apiece for each team. Stewart puts it up. That rolls off the front of the rim. And here comes Huron the other direction. Wright coming down the near sideline. Spins with it. That tipped away. Here comes Stewart with it over center for Pioneers. Stewart gets it on the near wing. Kicks it over to DeWolf. DeWolf putting up a 3. That just a little off the mark to the right. Grabbing it, Rios Acosta. She stops, spins with it, looking for an outlet. Gets it over. That to Rondon Cardone. Jump ball the call as Pioneer able to tie it up. 58.1 seconds left to go. The possession arrow this time is pointing towards Huron. Pioneer 16. Huron 7. 1 foul for each. Smith comes off for a breather as Almendris comes in for Huron. Almendris has it along the far sideline. Gets it over to Wright. Wright, top of the key. Wright backs off, coming down the far wing. Wright puts up a long 3-pointer. That off the front of the rim. Pulled away by DeWolf. DeWolf comes over center for Pioneer. DeWolf stops right at the free throw line. Dumps it underneath to Clark. Clark to Stewart. Stewart puts it into the far corner for Harris, who hits it. 2-pointer for Harris. Long 2-pointer. That was about a 17-foot 2-pointer. That makes it 18 points for Pioneer. 7 for Huron. That Clark trying to tip it away. She'll pick up a foul. That'll be Clark's first foul. Second on, put that right there, second on Pioneer. As Huron will inbound underneath their own basket as Rios Acosta gets it over to Wright on the far wing. Wright trying to work her way into the paint. Puts it up high. Arching shot. That goes down. Wright with her for 4th point. 9 seconds left to go. Pioneer quickly ahead. That back to Stewart, top of the key. Over to DeWolf on the near side. Underneath the Clark. That goes up to Hicks. Hicks for 3. That off the side of the rim would not fall. That is the end of the first quarter. It is Pioneer 18 and Huron 9. If we take a look at your leading scorers, DeWolf has 8 points. Clark has 4 points. Hicks has 2. Harris has 2. Stewart has 2. Over on the other side of the tally, it is Wright with 4 points. 3 points for Rios Acosta and 2 points for Rondon Cardone. That's where we stand. 18 points for Pioneer, 9 for Huron. 8 minutes up on the clock as we're getting ready to go for the second quarter. Both teams talking to their coaching staffs. Huron in their green jerseys with the white panel around the shoulders, white numbers. White stripe on the shorts, Huron in block lettering. Numbers in white on the front. Pioneer with block lettering, Pioneer across the front. Purple numbers, purple along the shoulders. And purple stripes on the pants. Numbers in purple on the front and on the back. Hicks to inbound right in front of us. 8 minutes up on the clock, getting ready to start the second quarter. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you very, very much for watching and supporting this team wherever you are at. Hicks inbounds to DeWolf. Pioneer with the ball. DeWolf comes over center. DeWolf right at the edge of the blockades. Moves over onto the far wing. DeWolf into the far corner. That for Hicks. Hicks works her way around the arc over to Stewart. Stewart moves over to Brines on the near wing. Over to DeWolf in the near corner. DeWolf bounce pass underneath to Clark. Clark gets it over to Hicks. Hicks over to Brines. Brines puts up a three. That one just a little short. Pulling it the other direction is Almendris. Almendris has that knocked away. Good job by DeWolf. Moves over to Stewart. Back to DeWolf. DeWolf stutter steps to her left. Dumps it underneath to Stewart. Stewart kicking it over to Clark. Clark puts it up. Oh, would not fall off the front. The back of the rim spinned out. Pioneer with the rebound. Brines spinning with it. Gets it back. Here's DeWolf with the dead on three. That off the front. The back of the rim, but Clark with the rebound. Clark puts it up. That spins out. Boy, nothing would fall in that set, but good rebounds. Here comes Wright ahead for Huron. She stops, top of the key, puts up a three-pointer. I think someone got a hand on that one. Coming the other direction, here comes Pioneer. Hicks with it in the far wing. Hicks trying to dump it into Clark. That tipped away. Getting her hand in there was Wright. Pioneer 18, Huron 9. 6:57 left to go here in the second before halftime. Hicks will inbound right in front of the Huron bench. Gets it over to Clark. Back to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks puts up a three-pointer. That just a little short. Smith with the rebound. Out. Let's get quickly to Wright for Huron. Wright just outside the free throw line. That shot just off to the near side a little bit. That pulled away by Brines. Ahead to DeWolf. DeWolf bounce pass over to Stewart. Stewart moves it over on the far wing. That for Hicks. Hicks puts up a three-pointer. That one rims around. Again, would not fall. Rebound by Powell. And here comes Huron with it. Is right over half court. Being watched by DeWolf. Moves it. That coming in. Trying to put it up was Lloyd. Getting a hand on it was Clark. Whistle, and I believe they're going to catch Clark for her second foul. That's going to be the third on Pioneer. Waiting to see the foul get put up on the board. Maybe not. Inbounding. Underneath that, inbounded, stolen away by DeWolf. I'm going to knock that foul off because they didn't put it up on the board. DeWolf has it on the far wing, trying to dump it underneath to Clark. Clark trying to sky it over for Stewart. Little miscommunication. Stewart had come down the baseline looking for it. Pioneer with the timeout called. Pioneer 18, Huron 9, 6:12 left to go here in the second. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Harbor Broadcasting. 6 minutes, 12 seconds left to go here in the second quarter, as it is Pioneer 18, Huron 9. 2 fouls on Pioneer this half, 1 on Huron. Possession arrow pointing Huron's way. They'll inbound as Rios Acosta gets it into Wright. Wright brings it ahead for the River Rats. DeWolf watching Wright. Wright dribbles to the far side on that far wing, trying to get it underneath the Rios Acosta in the paint. Rios Acosta puts it up, puts it in. High arcing shot. That's her 5th point. Pioneer 18, Huron 11. DeWolf has it on the far side. Hands it over to Hicks. Hicks, top of the key. Hicks moves it back to DeWolf for Pioneer. DeWolf trying to make her way into the paint. Gets it over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks underneath to Clark. Clark puts it up. And just a little on the near side. Hicks going to put it in, but that basket waved off. As they'll call Clark picks up her 2nd foul. 3rd on Pioneer this half. 5 minutes, 39 seconds left to go before halftime. 18 points for Pioneer. 11 for Huron. 7-point lead. Wright bringing it ahead for the River Rats. Wright over center on the near wing. Wright dribbles, goes to her left-hand side, thought about it, double team, moves it over. Now underneath, trying to put that up, wouldn't fall. Putting it up another time was Lloyd. Just a little too hard that time, and here comes Hicks for Pioneer. Hicks feeds it over to Stewart. Stewart hands it off to DeWolf on the near wing. DeWolf trying to work against Wright. DeWolf puts it up, left-handed off the glass, and in. That is her 10th point. Leads Pioneer, has half of their points. Pioneer 20 and Huron 11. Wright has the ball in the backcourt. Wright dribbling to the far side. Skies it over to Smith on that far corner. Smith double teamed in that far corner. Lifts it out. Brines intercepts the pass. Tough position to be in, boxed out. Now here comes DeWolf. DeWolf on the near wing. Moves it to Stewart coming down the baseline. Gets it over. There's a long free throw for Hicks as someone flew at her, and that I think made it just a little short. Someone might have gotten a finger on that. 4:40 left to go before halftime.
Ball goes to the Pioneers.
Pioneer maintains possession. Someone got a finger on that for the Huron defense. I believe that was Wright. That inbounded to Covington underneath the basket. Covington puts it up, rolls all the way around, goes about 380 degrees around, but falls. That is Covington's first points. Quickly ahead. There's a 3-point, or that's a 2-point shot for Almendrez. It's her first points of the game. Long two, 18-foot two-pointer. As Stewart has it for Pioneer. Top of the key, moves down the near wing to Brines. Brines dribbling to her right, trying to feed it underneath. Brines into the paint, off the glass, rolls around and in. Brines with her first points of the game. 24 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. Wright with it on the near wing. Wright dribbles, trying to make it into the paint. That goes off of a foot, picked up. Stewart quickly ahead to Brines. Brines comes up, off the glass, and in. Brines now has 4 points. 3 minutes, 46 seconds left to go. Pioneer 26, Huron 13. Wright for Huron. Brings it up. Wright over center. Wright being watched by Brines on that far wing. Wright trying to dribble towards the center, now coming down that far sideline, passes it off. There's a three-pointer, that off of the rim, trying to secure it as Hicks had it right on the near side. It's going to be Pioneer ball. Hicks will inbound on the near sideline. 3 minutes, 22 seconds left to go before halftime. 26 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. Hicks inbounds to DeWolf. DeWolf brings it ahead for Pioneer. 3 fouls for Pioneer, 1 for Huron. No one worried about being in the bonus just yet. That dumped underneath to Covington. Puts it up. Rolls off the back. The front of the rim would not fall. Covington gets the rebound. Moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf trying to get it into Covington. That tipped as going underneath was Lloyd.
Foul is on Pioneer. Huron, number 11, Elena Lloyd.
So Lloyd gets called for the foul. Pioneer to inbound. Hicks gets it to Covington. Covington back to Hicks underneath to Clark. Clark puts it off glass. That one wouldn't fall for her. Clark gets her own rebound, trying to get it over to Covington. Covington, that ball would not, it skittered away from her. Here comes Wright. Wright into the paint, puts it off glass with the right hand, wouldn't fall. That quickly ahead, Pioneer the other direction. Here comes Hicks down the far sideline. Hicks into the far corner, stop, bounce pass over to Clark. Clark puts over a 16-footer and it falls. 6 points for Alexis Clark. 2 minutes, 34 seconds left to go here before halftime. 28 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. As Wright brings it ahead for Huron. She's coming down the far sideline. Hicks watching her. And pulled away. Almendrez gets it back to Wright underneath, trying to put that up. As Lloyd stolen away. Here comes Pioneer with it. Bogan over half court. Bogan gets it over to Hicks. Hicks trying to get it to Clark. That grabbed by Stewart. Stewart trying to get it to Clark. That tipped away, coming the other direction. Almendrez comes down along the near side of the paint. Too hard off the glass. That grab by Clark. Clark quickly over to Hicks. Here comes Pioneer. Under 2 minutes left to go. Hicks coming down the far sideline. Bounce pass underneath. Covington puts it up. Covington puts it in. Off glass. That's Covington's 4th point. 30 points for Pioneer. 13 for Huron. Right. About 5 feet off of the top of the key. Getting it underneath to Smith. Smith has that stolen away as she was trying to set up Lloyd, but Hicks got her hands in the way of the pass. Hicks on the near wing for Pioneer. Into the paint. Hicks with the right hand. Puts it up. Puts it in. Timeout called. That's Hicks' 4th point. Pioneer 32. And Huron 13. 1 minute 24 seconds left in the half. Let's play a message from the MHSAA.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
1 minute 24 seconds left to go here before halftime. As both teams break the huddle. Possession arrow pointing towards Huron. Huron is going to inbound. Rios Acosta underneath the basket, gets it over to Wright. Wright coming on the near sideline. Right on that far wing, gets it over on the near wing, trying to get it underneath the Powell. And that is going to be a charge. So that is going to be Pioneer ball. 1 minute, 11 seconds left to go. Before halftime, bringing it ahead, DeWolf. DeWolf comes down the far sideline. DeWolf stops on that far sideline. Now on the far wing, gets it over to Spizek. Spizek over to Bogan. Bogan trying to get it underneath to Clark. Bogan with an 18-footer. That off the rim, out of bounds. That's going to go over to Huron. Rios Acosta will inbound underneath her own basket. Quickly ahead to Wright. 48 seconds left to go. That brought over half court. Over on the near side, Powell coming down the far sideline. Powell tries to get underneath, bounce passes it over into the far corner for Smith. As Spizak gets the rebound. That one just a little short. Coming ahead is DeWolf for Pioneer. DeWolf on the near wing. DeWolf dribbles to her right. DeWolf gets a little space, working on Rondon Cardone. DeWolf steps all the way back, playing for the last basket. DeWolf dribbles to her left. Now waiting, 9 seconds left to go. DeWolf gets a screen from Clark. DeWolf comes into the paint, puts it up off the glass with her left hand. Clark gets it, puts it up, wouldn't fall, and that is the end of the first half. At the end of the first half, it is Pioneer 32 and Huron 13. Taking a look, your leading score is 10 points for DeWolf. That's 6 for Clark, 4 points for Covington, 4 points for Hicks, 4 points for Bryans, and 2 points for Harris. Over on the Huron side, it is 5 points for Rios Acosta, 4 points for Wright, 2 points for Rondon Cardone, and 2 points for Al Mindras. As we'll keep this right here, as the cheer team's going to come out and perform a wonderful routine. They're doing a great job keeping the atmosphere going. We wish you could be here, but the cheer team's doing their best to bring a lot of life to this building. So let's take a listen.
We are on fire and tough, strong.
Fantastic job by the Pioneer cheer team. We really appreciate their hard work. We'll play a little bit of music, and we will be right back. You're watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting as they take on the Huron River Rats. And at halftime, it is Pioneer 32 and Huron 13, as we have just a little over 7 minutes left to go in halftime. So we'll play a few messages from, actually, let's play a little music. Here we go. And we are right back to action as we're coming into the third, as it is Pioneer 32 and Huron 13. As Huron comes out as Loit, Wright, Rondon Cardone, Rios Acosta out there, as well as Almendris for Pioneer. Hicks inbounds to DeWolf. DeWolf brings it ahead over center, dribbling to her right. Wolf has that tipped away by Wright. Now trying to pull the ball away. Wright comes away with it. There'll be a whistle. That one is going to go on to Wolf. That is her first. That inbounded. Bringing it ahead is Wright for Huron. Wright along the far wing. Wright dribbles. Heading to, trying to head into the paint. Moves it over on the near side. That's Rios Acosta. That one just a little too hard. Coming the other way is DeWolf. DeWolf floats it over to Brines on the far wing. Brines gets back, trying to put it off glass. That one just a touch too hard. Clark grabs it. Brines quickly over to Hicks. Hicks underneath to Clark. Clark puts it off the glass. That one wouldn't fall in. Spun, and here comes Rios Acosta the other direction for Huron. She stops, kicks it back over to Wright, but the ball actually traveled over half court. Even though Wright landed on the proper side, she grabbed it over half court. That will be over and back and go over to Pioneer. Wright doesn't agree with it. Bringing ahead to Wolf. 7:06 left to go here in the third. Pioneer 32, Huron 13. Clark gets it over to Brines on the far wing. Brines back underneath to Clark. Clark kicks it over on the near wing, over to Stewart. Stewart comes down the baseline, over to Clark. Clark dumps it to Stewart underneath, trying to get it over to Brines. Brines grabs it at the free throw line, and there's a three-pointer by DeWolf. That's her 13th point. 6:40 left to go here in the third. Pioneer up 35-13 on Huron. Right for Huron, coming down the far sideline. She cuts towards the basket, trying to feed it over to Rios Acosta. That's just a little off the mark. Rios Acosta can't grab it in, and that will go over to Pioneer. Hicks inbounds it over to DeWolf. DeWolf brings it ahead for Pioneer. Coming down the near sideline, being watched by Wright. DeWolf on the near wing, gets it over to Clark. Clark top of the key, over to Brines on the far wing. Brines getting it, trying to get it underneath the Clark. That was tipped, put up, and there is a injury on the court, as that is Loit, who went down trying to grab that basket, and she is down on the ground in some pain. The trainer quickly over. You love to see these athletes playing their guts out, but you do not want to see any of these wonderful athletes injured. So we really hope that she is okay. She looks to be in some pain. And we will step away, let the trainers deal with that. We'll play a few messages from... Oops, she pops up. Okay, thank gosh. We are very, very, very happy that she is all right and she runs off the court. So we're exceedingly happy that Loit is all right. 6 minutes, 8 seconds left to go here in the third. 35 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. Wright brings it ahead for the River Rats. Coming down the far sideline, Wright to the free throw line, gets it over to Rondon Cardone. Rondon Cardone trying to move it over to Wright in the far corner. There's a three-pointer. Skies. That pulled away by Stewart, just a little short. Coming the other direction, here comes DeWolf for Pioneer. DeWolf stops, top of the key, moves it over in the near corner for Hicks. Hicks puts up a three-pointer, that off the rim. Huron with the rebound. Wright comes down the near sideline for Huron. Wright on the near wing, being watched by Stewart. Kicks it over to Rios Acosta, and that is a travel. Just before she hit the three, a whistle blown as it was going up. 5 minutes, 29 seconds left to go here in the third. 35 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. Covington inbound on the near sideline. Covington to DeWolf. DeWolf brings ahead for Pioneer. Again, Wright watching DeWolf. DeWolf over center. Dribbles to the near side, hands it off to Brines. Brines on the near wing. Over to Clark. Clark gets it to Stewart on that far wing, being watched by Rios Acosta. Stewart moves it to DeWolf. DeWolf over to Clark on the near wing. Clark skies it for Covington underneath. Brines trying to save it, and that'll go out of bounds. That'll be Huron ball. Rios Acosta will inbound. Baseline right. Stewart comes out for a breather. Is bringing it ahead right for Huron along that far sideline. Bryan's watching her. Moved it over to Rios Acosta. Now over to Smith. Covington watching Smith. Back to right, top of the key. Right comes to the near side. Puts it up. That off of the rim. Pulled away by Covington. Covington over to DeWolf. DeWolf for Pioneer coming down the near sideline. DeWolf into the paint. Puts it off glass with the right hand. Puts it in. That is her 15th point for Lauren DeWolf. Huron has it. That over on the near side to Smith on the near wing. Smith comes down the baseline trying to get around Covington. Now double team pulled away by Clark. Clark comes over half court, gets it over to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks back to Clark. Clark up with the left-hand side and in. Hits it, +1. 8 points for Clark as she'll go to the line. As there'll be a timeout called before the free throws. We'll take it with them. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
4 minutes, 16 seconds left to go here in the third. Pioneer, 39. Huron, 13. Clark trying to make it an even 40 as she steps to the line. 1 foul apiece for both teams here in this second half. 26-point lead by Pioneer. They don't want to give Huron any momentum. Clark toes up at the line. Dribbles. Puts it up. Rattles front, back, and then out. That is grabbed by Rios Acosta. Then a foul. Brines picks up her first foul, second for Pioneer in this half. Bringing ahead, right for Huron. Right comes to the near side, into the paint, bounce pass. Over along the far side, there's Rondon Cardone. And the rebound grabbed by Loit, but then it bounces on the end line. That will be Pioneer ball. DeWolf brings ahead for Pioneer. 4 minutes even left to go here in the third. DeWolf has it along the near sideline, right watching her. Covington gives her a screen. DeWolf steps to the free throw line, over to Clark. Clark looking, spins, gets it to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks steps up, free throw line. Now over on the near side to DeWolf. DeWolf coming into the paint. DeWolf with the left hand off the glass, wouldn't fall. Clark with it. Clark puts it up with the right hand. That rolls off the rim. Now Covington tied up as that will be a jump ball, possession arrow pointing to Huron. 3 minutes, 34 seconds left to go here in the third. 39 points for Pioneer, 13 for the River Rats. Rios Acosta trying to inbound to right. Right has it. Brines providing full court pressure for Huron. Right dribbles over half court, comes up top of the key, puts up a three-pointer. That off the front of the rim. Rebound by Huron. That given back. Right puts it up with the left hand. That rolls and in. That will be 6 points for Wright. Pioneer quickly ahead. That over to Hicks. Hicks right at the free throw line. Moves it over. Clark with a 18-footer. She puts it in. That's 10 points for Clark. 41 points as DeWolf steals it away. Steals the inbound pass. That now taken right back by Wright. Coming the other direction. Right over half court for Huron. As that will be a foul on Huron, it looks like. The foul looks like it's on Wright, I believe. Pioneer to inbound, 2 fouls apiece in this half, 2 minutes, 48 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. DeWolf brings it up court. DeWolf over center. Bounce pass over to Covington. Covington moves it over to Bogan on the far wing. Bogan skies it underneath for Covington. Covington moving a post move high off the glass and in. That's 6 points for Covington. 43 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Wright brings it ahead. Wright being watched by DeWolf. Dribbles, top of the key, now trying to come down the paint. Stolen away by Bogan. Bogan the other direction. Bogan comes into the paint, puts it up, left hand. Rebound, pulled away by DeWolf. DeWolf on the far wing. Bounce past Hicks. Hicks puts it up, puts it in. Just a step beyond the free throw line. Hicks with her 6th point. 45 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Wright brings it ahead over half court. Wright coming down the far sideline, trying to work her way into the paint, loses control of the dribble. That quickly ahead to DeWolf. DeWolf headed quickly the other direction with the finger roll off the left hand. Wouldn't fall. Bogan gets the rebound. That knocked away by Smith. Battle for it. Smith kicks it out. Coming the other direction is Lloyd. Now there's a whistle and a foul as Hicks picks up her 2nd foul. That is Pioneer's 3rd foul of the half. 1 minute, 31 seconds left to go. Rios Acosta will inbound right in front of us. And she inbounds it to Wright. Wright coming down the far sideline, switches dribbles, working against Dombrowski. Right on that far wing, hands it off. As that's Rondon Cardone with it in the far wing. Gets to the free throw line, dumps it back to Rios Acosta. Rios Acosta for 3. That one just off to the left, moved back, kicked back out to Wright on the near wing. Wright takes a long 2-pointer, foot on the arc, but last touch by Pioneer. That will be Huron ball. 1 minute, 2 seconds left to go here in the third. Rios Acosta will inbound on this near sideline. She hands it off to Rondon Cardone, and out of bounds it goes. As the official kindly makes it so I don't strangle myself with my headset, because that's the level of athletic skill I have. That's why I'm in a seat with the microphone. Rios Acosta to inbound. Gets that over to Almendris. Now over on the far side. Trying to pull that away. Smith into the paint. Puts it up high off glass. Smith gets her own rebound. Puts it up again. Just a little hard. Pulling that away. Lloyd had it, but now Covington sends it ahead for Bogan. Bogan coming down the near sideline. Bogan makes a move to her right. Bogan gets it over to Covington. Covington over on the far side to Harris. Harris on the far wing. Harris over to Dombrowski. Dombrowski trying to get it underneath to Covington. Up off the glass. Would not fall. Covington gets a rebound. Gets it over to Bogan. And out of bounds. That'll go over to Huron. 45 points for Huron. 15. Or 45 points for Pioneer. 15 for Huron. 22 seconds left to go here in the third. Rondon Cardone has it. On the far wing. Dribbles. Far sideline. Trying to get it underneath. That floated up. Would not fall for Lloyd. That quickly ahead into the paint, putting it up. Harris would not fall there. Bounce pass, and that is the end of the third. So at the end of 3, 45 points for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. 3 fouls for Pioneer, 2 for Huron. We'll take a quick break, play a little push on, and get you ready for the all-important fourth quarter. Thank you so much, by the way, for tuning in and supporting these wonderful, amazing athletes, cheering for them wherever you are at. We are very, very grateful, and we appreciate it. As we head into the fourth quarter, 30-point lead for Pioneer. Excellent job by the cheer team, creating atmosphere inside the gym. Doing their best to make it, give it a good atmosphere. Can't replace all you wonderful, amazing fans, but they're doing a good job to bring some energy. That pulled ahead by DeWolf for Pioneer on the near wing. Moves it over to Clark, top of the key. Clark gets it over to Brines on the far wing. Brines being watched by Smith, trying to get it to Clark. That was tipped away by Lloyd. Pioneer, should be Pioneer ball, right? Yes, indeed it is. DeWolf will inbound. Baseline right, underneath their own basket. DeWolf gets it over on the far wing to Hicks. Hicks bounce pass underneath to Clark. Clark into the paint, takes a dribble, and a travel call. That'll go over to Huron. 7 minutes, 42 seconds left to go here in the fourth. Wright has it in the near corner, double teamed. Breaks free of it, goes over center, trying to get it ahead to Rondon Cardone. That pulled away. DeWolf over to Hicks. Hicks comes down the baseline. Hicks bounce pass over to Clark. Clark in the paint, puts up with the right hand, finger roll, and in. That is 12 points for Clark. 47 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Smith double teamed in the backcourt. Smith looking for a place to go with it. That's stolen away by Pioneer. Underneath to Stewart, who puts it up, and Stewart puts it in. That's her fourth point. 49 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. They get it in to Wright. Now ahead to Smith. Smith quickly trying to get it over. That's stolen away by DeWolf. DeWolf comes, kicks it over to Hicks. Hicks into the paint, puts it up with the left hand. Clark grabs it. Clark puts it on the floor, now puts it up and in. Clark with 14 points. There's a whistle, timeout called. 6:45 left to go here in the fourth. Pioneer 51, Huron 15. Let's play a message from the MHSAA.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we're getting ready to go here, is the ball inbounded, skied over to the right, that's stolen away by Brines. Brines kicks it over along the far side, that off the glass and in. DeWolf. That makes it, 17 points for her. Quickly ahead. Wright has it on the near sideline, works her way around the arc, puts up a free throw distance, puts it in. Wright. That is going to be her 8th point. Quickly up and in for Pioneer. They moved it down quickly. That ball coming down the far side. Rondon Cardone has it. Getting it back, that tipped out of bounds. Huron ball in along the far sideline. Grabbed. Bouncing it is Wright. Wright being watched by Stewart. Kicks it all the way over. Hicks will inbound. That brought in. Here comes DeWolf down the near sideline. DeWolf gets it over to Hicks. Hicks on the far side to Bryans. Bryans working her way around the arc. Gets it back over to DeWolf. DeWolf on the free throw line underneath to Clark. Clark off the glass and in. That is 16 points for Clark. As Wright has the ball, dribbling with it. That underneath, put up, would not fall. And was trying to get that in was Lloyd, wouldn't go for her. Five minutes, 9 seconds left to go. As the ball inbounded, Powell trying to get it. Powell that knocked away, coming down. Here comes Pioneer with it. Brewer into the paint. Brewer puts it off glass. That wouldn't fall, pulled down. Harris trying to float it up. That knocked down. Coming the other direction with it is Rondon Cardone. Rondon Cardone has it along the far wing. Gets it over. Now that lifted over to Wright. Wright about 5 feet back. Wright trying to get into the paint. Puts it off glass. That would not fall. Quickly ahead the other direction. Here comes Harris. Harris trying to put it up. That knocked away. Pioneer 57 points. Harris puts it up, rattles around and down. That is Harris's 4th points. Second one rims off. 3 points for Harris. That brought ahead by Wright. Wright along the far sideline, trying to kick up into the paint. That grabbed, fired off. That off the rim, trying to pull it down. Wright battling with it. Three minutes, 11 seconds left to go. Brewer picks up her first foul. That ball inbounded underneath. Wright has it right at the free throw line. Shot that off the rim. Trying to pull that down. Battle underneath. Spizak trying to get that pulled away. Jump ball goes to Huron. That picked up. The ball grabbed by Powell. Powell puts it off glass. That just a little bit hard. Bogan comes the other direction with it. Bogan over center. Bogan ahead to Dombrowski. Dombrowski trying to put it in. Wright pulls it away. 58 points for Pioneers, 17 for Huron. Wright brings it over center. Wright coming into the paint. Wright puts it up. That off the front of the rim. Pulling it. Harris the other direction. Harris over center for Pioneer. Harris bounce pass over to Spizak. Spizak gets it over to Brewer. Brewer puts in a 14-footer. She gets her first 2 points of the varsity game. She had 14 points for the JV game. Now brought ahead. Here comes Rios Acosta over to Smith. Smith on the near sideline. Smith All the way over to Rios Acosta on the far wing. 1 minute, 36 seconds left to go. There was a bump and a foul. Dombrowski will pick that one up. That should be the 5th foul on Pioneer. Rios Acosta will inbound on the near sideline. Trying to get it in. Wright has it. Wright with a long two-pointer. That one just shy of the mark. Pulling it away is Smith. 1 minute, 11 seconds left to go here in the 4th. That kick back. Rios Acosta has it. Moves it over to Wright. Wright coming down the baseline. Wright puts it up with the right hand. Puts it in. That will be 10 for Wright. Bogan brings it up the other direction for Pioneer. Bogan. Over half court, dribbles to her left. Bogan. Trying to get around. Rondon Cardon. That over to Dombrowski. Dombrowski with it. Dombrowski dribbling. 31 seconds left to go. Brewer has it on that far wing. 20 seconds left to go. That over to Bogan on the near wing. Bogan gets it back to Brewer. Brewer over on the far side to Harris. Both Brewer and Harris played in the JV game. Gets it back to Brewer on the near wing. 6 seconds left to go. That over to Dombrowski. And that will do it. Well, this team is back in action. Well, final score. Let me do that. Final score. 60 points for Pioneer. 19 for Huron. We will have the men's games here from Pioneer tomorrow. The freshman, JV, and varsity. We will not have, that will be versus Ypsilanti Community. We will not have the Pioneer women's game, but because it's at Ypsilanti, they do allow two spectators per athlete. So please go on and cheer on the team over at Ypsilanti. At 3:30, we will have the men's hockey game for you versus Saline with James and Oliver, our students, on the play-by-play call. We will have Larry Lage and Gary on the call for the freshmen, and then we'll see what I can do. I'll definitely call the varsity men's game tomorrow, and we'll see if I can get my camera person in time for me to do the JV game. But your leading scores for Pioneer, Lauren DeWolf had 17 points for the game. Alexis Clark, big down low, played huge minutes in the paint. She had 16 points. Let's see, it was 6 points for Covington, 6 points for Hicks, 4 points for Brines, 4 points for Stewart, and 2 points for Brewer. Over on the Huron side, it was 10 points for Wright, 5 points for Rios Acosta, 2 points for Almendras, and 2 points for Rondon Cardone. And that will do it. That puts Pioneer at 5-1, solidly in second place in the SEC. And we are very excited about that. This team, like I said, will be back in action tomorrow. Please go check them out. Thank you so much for supporting the team, for cheering for wherever you are at. We are very, very grateful. We hope you have a fantastic rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you later. For my cameraman, James Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Have a great night.